You have chosen to start the mission in the air. Please set the throttle lever and use trim to level the aircraft and navigate towards waypoint B1. Maintain an altitude under 250 meters AGL and a speed between 0.5 to 0.6 Mach, to have enough time for explanations. The Rb04E was a radar-guided, sea-skimming, fire-and-forget anti-ship missile. Its development began on 1949, when the Swedish government placed a request for a radar-guided, air-launched anti-ship missile. This resulted in the Rb0304 project, and its prototype was test-launched from a Saab J-29 fighter in early 1955. The initial production version was designated Rb04C, and entered service with the Swedish Air Force A-32 Lansen attack aircraft in 1961. At the time it was the first anti-ship missile of its kind in the Western world. Approximately 300 were built by CVA in Arboga. The Rb04C had a solid fuel rocket motor, and a warhead that could be fitted with a contact or proximity fuse. A more refined version, the Rb04D, with longer range engine, was introduced in the late 1960s. Press spacebar to continue. Finally, the E version was developed to fit the then new AJ37 Viggen strike aircraft. This variant had a shorter wingspan and improved guidance system, with a new monopulse radar seeker. Development started on 1966 and entered service in 1975, with 315 missiles produced until 1978. It was never exported. The Rb04E has never seen combat. The closest was during the Whiskey on the Rocks incident, when in 1981 a Soviet submarine of the Whiskey class ran aground outside the naval station in Karlskrona. Swedish AJ37 Viggens, armed with Rb04E, stood on high alert for a possible Soviet incursion to free their sub by force. On one occasion, when a Soviet rescue operation seemed to be underway, aircraft were scrambled with the intent to intercept Soviet ships. The main specifications of the Rb04E are listed below. Press space bar to begin the training. As target for this training mission, we will use a simulated invasion fleet located near RB2 waypoint. The ships will not try to shoot at the missiles, as this is just a training attack. The suggested attack direction is from the fleet's beam. Once you have launched both missiles, turn right and navigate towards the B3 waypoint. Press space bar to continue. Weapon selector, set to attack, to select the Rb04E as the active weapon. You may want to briefly set the data selector to tact, to confirm that the missiles are indeed ready. If the digits 2 and 5 do not show 1, then the aircraft has a mixed weapons configuration and the missiles will not be able to launch. Release mode, on this mission set to Siri. IMP releases a single missile when the trigger is pressed. Siri will release both missiles, with an automatic delay of 2 seconds between each, to prevent them from colliding. Target type, for this mission, set to GRUP. Enkel configures the missile to attack a single ship. If you release both missiles at the same time, they will both impact the same target. Use this against warships. GRUP will have the missiles target a group of 3 or more ships, randomly choosing the target between them, allowing hits on 2 ships per attack, but can be used only if the ships are lined up in death on the way shown on the figure. Use this option against convoys of unarmored ships. Set the altitude source selector to RHM. This will ensure the radar altimeter is used as the primary altitude source, which has a more accurate reading at low altitudes. Adjust the main altimeter to the target's waypoint. On the kneeboard you have all your waypoints information. There you can check that the waypoint B2 has a QFE of 1013 millibars. Adjust the altimeter to that value, and then press spacebar to continue. The Rb04E missiles are now ready to use. Press spacebar to continue the training. The Rb04E is a fire-and-forget missile. However, its maximum range is only 30 kilometers, so you need to launch it towards the target and not exceed this range. Therefore, it is important to employ the Viggen's radar to search and locate the target. Radar mode, set to A1 and then adjust its display brightness. At this point, we can only see the white circle designating our waypoint B1. The target is out of range. Convert waypoint B2 into a target waypoint. We need to do this because our navigation waypoint B2 is placed at the estimated position of our target. Once our radar detects the true position of the convoy, we will have to relocate the waypoint position. To prevent this position relocation from affecting the position of later waypoints, we need to convert B2 into target waypoint M2, which can be relocated freely without affecting subsequent waypoints. First, make sure that the data selector is at AJS. Next, select the target waypoint. On this mission it is B2, the destination indicator should show B2. Now turn the data selector to TACT. Switch to IN to be able to input tactical data. Input the code 9, the display will show 9 plus 5 zeros. Now press B2 to enter the new value. The display indicator will change from navigation waypoint B2 into target waypoint M2. If you ever need to turn a target waypoint back into a navigation waypoint, input a 0 instead of a 9. Good, now turn the data knob back to AJS, and the INUT switch back to output. Note that M2 is still selected. Press B1 to reselect waypoint B1, which is the next waypoint, in front of us. Okay, we will continue the target search once we have passed B1. If you want, you can accelerate time with the left Ctrl plus Z keys. I will return the time to normal when needed. Once you reach waypoint B1, turn left to proceed to the target area, near waypoint M2. Master Mode Selector, set to ANF, Attack. The Rb04E can be fired also from nav or SPA modes, and will fly straight ahead and engage detected targets of opportunity as programmed. However, no ranging, drift, or release information will be available on the HUD and central indicator. We are about to enter the sea. Adjust the Doppler radar by setting its land-sea switch to SJO, for better radar altimeter precision over water. Also, increase the display range to 120 kilometers and begin to search for contacts. Press spacebar once you have detected the convoy. Okay, you have detected the convoy position. Note that the current position of our M2 target point is different than the actual convoy position. We will relocate M2 so its position matches the convoy's. Press the radar stick trigger to its T1 position. A crosshair should appear on the radar screen. Use the radar stick bindings to move the crosshair over the detected convoy. Once you have the cursor over the convoy, press the radar stick trigger to its TV position. The crosshair will disappear, and the target point circle will be relocated. Good, now the target point M2 should be enclosing the detected convoy, as shown on the figure, and the distance indicator will be showing our current distance to the target. The range arcs that the mode ANF places on the radar screen show the maximum and minimum range of our missiles. Originally, these lines were fixed at 12 and 24 kilometer ranges, but at some point the procedure was improved to calculate the engagement envelope dynamically based on air pressure, temperature, and speed of the launching aircraft, so you will find that a higher launch speed may increase the missile effective range. You can now initiate a low-level approach onto the target. Maneuver your aircraft so that you approach the fleet on its beam. Strive to have the target ships aligned on depth. Increase your speed to have greater firing range, but do not exceed 0.92 Mach. The missile release altitude should be 50 to 425 meters ASL, and at a speed between 0.7 to 0.92 Mach. If you are out of this envelope, the red low-altitude warning light, near the radar screen, will illuminate and the computer will refuse to release it. When the distance line appears on the HUD, raise the trigger safety bracket. If you have not been able to align perfectly against a column of ships, then switch the missile mode back to ankle, to ensure at least one hit. Once within range, press and hold the trigger, as releasing the missiles will take a few seconds. The fall blast light will illuminate once both weapons have released. Missiles away. Select waypoint B3 and turn right towards it, to get away from the target. Set the trigger safety bracket back to safe. Set master mode to nav, the fall light will extinguish. Repeatedly press F6 to have a view of the missiles. Ensure that you have enabled the autopilot first. The attack portion of the mission has finished. If you want to continue the navigation until you land and park at our home airbase, press backspace. If you prefer to end the training at this point, press spacebar.